All right, guys. But we're going to move on into chapter 3. Chapter 3 is all about different kinds of banking. So the first two sections dealing with a checking account, how to write checks, how to keep a check registry, how to reconcile your checking account. So we're going to spend a couple days on 3.1 and 3.2 and kind of reviewing that. And then Friday this week, we're going to have a quiz over these two sections. And then that'll be the last time I quiz you over this stuff. But then the rest of the chapter deals more with like formulas of interest and different types of things like that we'll do like a separate quiz test on those where 3.1, 3.2 will not show up on that. Does that make sense? So I'm going to quiz you on these first two sections on Friday, and then I'll never quiz you on it again until you see it on the exam. Okay? Oh, yeah, remember those things? Right before Christmas? I don't make those rules. All right. All right, well, today's section 3.1, checking accounts. This should be a pretty short, sweet, easy section, I hope. I realize a lot of people probably don't write a lot of checks, not like we used to back in the day before a lot of debit cards and online banking and stuff like that. However, even though I still pay all of my bills online, I do all online banking, I use my debit card all the time, like I'm somebody who never has cash on hand, I still write a check every once in a while, though, okay? Depending on certain businesses don't take debit card, or you owe your friend money, and you're like, oh, let me just write you a check quick because I don't have time to run to the bank to get cash for you, right? Because I never have cash. So I write checks every once in a while. So we'll kind of briefly talk about how to write a check, not a whole lot. But the big thing is how to keep things like in a check registry. A lot of times people anymore, like I don't keep a paper check registry anymore. I look at my bank accounts online, and I just kind of do it that way, which I think a lot of people do anymore. But it's still good to know how they work so that you can still see kind of what the bank is doing on their end when you're only looking at an online like account of your state, of your balances. Okay, so we're going to do it by hand, by paper. I know a lot of you will do it all online anymore, but same idea. Still good to know like where all that stuff comes from. All right, I went ahead on your notes. You do have all your vocab right on there. I didn't want to waste time writing it. I'll talk about them one at a time, though. Oh, hold on one sec. Okay. Yeah, this is from the movie Moana. That's where all the pictures come from. That's Hey Hey. If you've never seen, anybody never seen Moana? Oh, you need to watch Moana. I'd be for them. I love Moana. Sam? That's gross. All right. But that's Hey Hey. He's like we have the stuffed version of Hey Hey at home. That's my daughter's favorite. He's a really dumb chicken. He's really funny. But anyway, so first thing is talking about basic checking accounts. So a basic checking account, an account at a bank that allows a customer to deposit money, make withdrawals, and you can make transfers, right? So like your savings account, you can transfer to pay bills, things like that. Many of these accounts do not pay interest. Okay, so that's something to think about. If you're somebody as you get older, if you have a lot of money, you'll want to accumulate interest on money that's sitting in the bank. But if it's in a basic checking account, a lot of times they do not accumulate any interest whatsoever. But if you're somebody like, I got 50 bucks to my name, then maybe you don't need to accumulate interest, right? Because you don't really have much money in there anyway. Free checking account requires no minimum balance and charges no maintenance fees. Because some accounts, depending on what type they are, charge you a fee per month to have the account. But there are free checking accounts. They have no monthly fees, and they require no minimum balance. So depending on what you want, a lot of the checking accounts that require a minimum balance are the ones that also pay you interest. So there's no reason to have one of those if you can't reach that minimum balance. And sometimes, depending on the bank, it could be like a $10,000 minimum balance, which I ain't got 10 grand laying around. How about you guys? Interest-bearing checking accounts pay customers interest, usually on a monthly basis, on the money that's in the account. A minimum balance is often required, and a fee is charged if the account balance drops below that minimum. So you need to make sure before you sign up for one that you're like, oh, I want to accumulate interest. Make sure what that minimum balance is. Okay, a lot of times they're pretty high. And then a joint checking account. All right, joint checking accounts is owned by more than one person. For example, my husband and I, we have a joint checking account. Okay, if you look at our checks, both of our names are on them. I can take money out of the account, so can he. We each have debit cards that go to that same account. The numbers on our cards are different, but it takes money out of that same account that we just use the money together. Okay. Depending on where you bank also depends. Like for me personally, like I bank at Huntington. I have, it's a great, I think they do great. There's Huntingtons everywhere. You can always find them. But like the checking account, like I have a joint checking account I share with my husband. There's no fees. And like mine doesn't have a minimum balance on it. And they don't charge me overdraft fees. Do you guys know what an overdraft is? Overdraft is I have $25 in my account and I write a check for $100. There's not enough money in my account to cover the check I just wrote. So when that goes through the bank and they go to pull that money out of my account and they're like, there's not enough money here, my account, since there's overdraft protection, it will allow that check to go through. The bank will cover that extra money. You know, and my account's in the negatives, but the bank's allowing that to happen. And they don't charge me a fee for that. Okay, a lot of banks, when you do that, oops, they're going to charge you like a $35 fee every time you do that. So things to kind of keep in mind as you choose what bank you want to put all your money into. All right, an account balance, the total amount in your account at any given time. So if anybody asks you what your account balance is, they just want to know how much do you actually have in your account. All right, what's it mean to deposit something? Yeah, money that's added to your account. You're putting money into your account. Birthday money, paycheck, found 20 bucks on the road, you know, that kind of stuff. Nice. Put it back down. All right. A deposit slip. So if you go to the bank and you want to put money into your account, you have to fill out a deposit slip so they know where the money, what money you have, what you're putting in, how you want to put into what account. Okay, so you fill out a deposit slip. It'll look something similar to this. Anybody ever seen these before? Okay, when you go to the bank. So pretty much you fill in your whatever date it is. You have to sign if you're trying to get cash back. So let's say I have like 3 checks I want to deposit, but I want like $100 back in cash. You have to sign it so that you're verifying, yes, I'm taking some of this money back. You fill in the total amount of cash that you have that you're going to deposit. List all your checks individually. If you have like a couple checks you're all going to put in together. Total it. Less cash received means I want $100 in cash back out of this. I'm going to write 100. I'll subtract that off and my total amount that I'm actually depositing in my account. Cool. Mm-hmm. And depending on what bank you're at, you can do that. Like I do the same thing if I go through like the drive-through. I just put them in the little thing like I want to deposit that in my checking account. And then they will fill this out though. Because then if you're like, but I want $100 cash back, they'll be like, okay, hold on. They'll fill this out. They'll send it back out to you. I need you to sign this. I'll sign it, and then they'll bring me my cash back. You don't, they don't make you sign anything? So it probably depends what bank you're at and what teller is working that day. Okay. All right. So number 1, here we go. I actually do some problems here. Deposit an $865.98 paycheck, $623 stock dividend check, hey, stocks, $60 rebate check, and $130 cash into your checking account. So we're just going to get a little practice actually filling out the deposit ticket. Okay? So where do we start on this? So what's today's date? The 5th. So we'll just deposit this as if it was today. So putting the date. You could put the abbreviation for September. Yep. Just anything so that you're aware that it's September 5th, 2017. I'm the lazy mathematician. If I'm going to write less, I'm going to write less if I can. No? Maybe, technically. I don't know. I've never tried it. I always sign my name. All right, so here we go. So how much cash do we have? Cash. Cash? 130 cash. So $130 goes here. All right, and then list checks singly, so one at a time. So the first one I have is my paycheck. $865.98. Okay, so I put that one in. I have a $623 stock dividend, $623, and a $60 rebate check. All right, now there's another line here. What do I do with that one? You could. That way, you're like, I don't need that, right? It's blank. You don't have to put a line through it. Totally up to you. Okay, then what do I do? Add it up. So let's do our subtotal. So 1678.90. Double check my math there. 98. Yeah, it should be. Why did I have 90? 98. All right, less cash received. Did it say I'm getting cash back? Nope, so I don't need to worry about that. So less cash received, nothing. So my grand total, 1678.98. Yeah, this section is not hard math by any means. Just trying to make sure you're understanding where all this stuff's kind of coming from. If your original balance was $278.91, what is the new balance after your deposit? What do we have to do with that? Add it. Good. $1,957.89. Right? I just added that total with how much I'm depositing, figure out how much money I have in my account. Yep, because this was the original balance I started with, and I'm adding this much back into my account. So I'm just adding the two together. Question, Robert. Uh-oh. Oh, if you look at the very first thing on that, it said deposit. It was listing what I wanted to deposit. So I wanted to deposit 130 cash. No, I agree, though. Sometimes, depending on how you read it, you could get a different answer. All right, questions on actually just using a deposit slip and depositing in money? All right. Number 2, Allison currently has a balance of $2,300 in her checking account. She deposits $425.33 paycheck, $20 rebate check, and a personal check for $550 into her checking account. She wants to receive $200 in cash. How much will she have in her account after the transaction? So, two different things. I want you to actually fill out the deposit slip and then actually tell me how much she'll have left in her account. Okay? So, if we fill out the deposit ticket, we use today's date. Are we putting any cash in? No cash this time. But we'll put in $425.33, $20 rebate check, personal check for $550. She wants to receive $200 in cash. You can just sign, whatever. Sign Allison's name. You're right, it is illegal. All right, so for this, we need to do our subtotal, right? How much is she, altogether, does she have for her subtotal? Good. And she wants $200 back in cash, so how much is she actually depositing? Good. Did we answer the question? No. How much will she have in her account after the transaction? How'd you get that answer? Perfect. So this is the amount she actually was depositing, and she already had that much in there. So altogether, she'll have $3,095.33 in her account. don't know about you, but I kind of like her account. What do you guys think? It'll be all right. All right. So the next thing is a check register. Check register is where you record all transactions in your checking account. That includes all your checks you've written, deposits made, fees paid, ATM withdrawals, so on. Every time money's going in or out of your checking account, you should keep track of that. Now, again, I'll be perfectly honest. I used to keep all this until online banking became more of a thing. So now I don't keep a paper copy, but it's still good to be able to look at your bank statement online and be able to look at everything that's on there and understand why things are taken out and when money's put back in. Okay, it's still good to understand how all of that works. But when you actually get a check, does anybody have checks to a checking account? A couple of you? Okay. This comes with your checking account, right? When your checks, you get the check registry. It looks just like this. All right, so here we go. Number 3. Nick has a checking account with the Park Slope Savings Bank. He writes both paper and electronic checks. For each transaction, Nick enters the necessary information: the check number, the date, type of transaction, and the amount. He uses E to indicate an electronic transaction. I'll be honest, I never did when I did it, but this is like your check registry is totally yours, right? Nobody else sees that but you. Okay, so whatever's comfortable for you and how you write things down. Determine the balance in his account after the Star Cable Company check is written. Okay, so take a look at his thing he's got going on here in his registry. So if you look in the upper corner, we have his starting balance. So he has $3,672.27. And then it's a listing of everything that's going on. I want to make sure we're clear on how all of this is written. So number or code, this is your check numbers. Okay? What do we know about check numbers? What's going to be this next check? 3273. So they go in order. Okay, one check after the next. Okay, so if you have a check number, you'd write that down. Whatever date the transaction's taking place. Description, this is so you understand and remember what on earth it was that you spent your money for, okay? So he wrote it to Auto Body, Guitar Hut, deposit his paycheck, paid for Verizon, and then your cable company. Okay, and then you have columns over here. You have a payment amount. This is money that is being subtracted out of your account. Deposit amount, that's where you're going to write down all the money that's going into your account. But it's nice when you see them in separate columns. You understand, okay, payment amount, this stuff gets subtracted. Deposit, this stuff gets added, right? So payment is subtracted. Deposit, that money is added back in. All right, then you have this check mark and you have fee box. The check mark we'll talk about tomorrow. That's when you reconcile. It's called reconciling your checking account, kind of making sure your balances line up. We'll talk about that tomorrow. That's where you can kind of keep track of that. The fee column, you could make a note there that that was a fee, but to me it seems redundant. I would just write it over here, fee, then I'd write it down. All right, and then over here, you keep your ongoing balance all the way through. All right, so let's go ahead and go through this. So first thing, his total balance at the top, but we paid money to the Auto Body. So this is subtracting. So you take your balance that you start with, and let's subtract out the $17.21. Then you should get $19.51.27. Notice how I wrote it down in the blue line, or be the gray line on your paper. It's helpful to space things out as you go. Okay? All right, the next one, Kate's Guitar Hut. Subtract it or add it? Subtract it. This is money we paid there. So we'll subtract out the $32.50. So $19.18.77. Doesn't matter. Totally up to you. I know, like, when I used to keep my check registry, I would go through the registry so fast, I started writing on every single line. That way I didn't go through them so fast. But if you notice here, that's why they're always spaced, just so it's not so crammed together. Deposit paycheck. What am I doing with that amount? I'm adding money into my account. Always like that. So $27.40.30. Verizon Wireless. Add or subtract? Subtract that. then the Star Cable Company, add or subtract? Subtract again. Perfect. So how much money does he have in the account after he pays that? $2,499.90. Your actual account. All right, guys, I handed out a single sheet of paper to you. Two other problems I had not originally put in the notes when I printed them, but I think they're important that we need to look at. So go ahead and flip to that page. All right, so number 4. Comerica Bank charges a monthly maintenance fee of $13 and a check writing fee of 6 cents per check. I don't know about you guys, but if you write a lot of checks, I would not choose a checking account that you pay per check, okay, because that would add up. Last year, Aiden wrote 352 checks from his account at Comerica. What was the total of all fees he paid on that account last year? Comerica Bank. Comerica Park for the Tigers, but Comerica Bank's a real bank. Yeah, it is. All right, so what do you guys think? Robert? Well, that's what you think his total is? I disagree. That is a beautiful answer back there. Yeah, guys, it's $13 is your maintenance fee. That's per month. We're talking about last year. How many months are in a year? 12. So I have to do 13 times 12, because every month they charge me a $13 fee, right? So that's $156. That's just that monthly maintenance fees for the year. And then Aiden wrote 352 checks. How much are they charging me per check? So I have to multiply that by the 6 cents. So $21.12 per check fees. So that's not terrible, $21. But to me, it's like, that's a waste of money, right? It's just money going right out of your account. So altogether, how much did he pay? Good. Look at that. That's just $177 in 1 year. That's just gone. You didn't even get anything for that. You got to have your checking account. Find a different bank. There are lots of banks that give you free checking, okay? Shop around. All right. New Brunswick Bank charges a $25 per check overdraft protection fee. We talked a little bit about that. So every time your bank account goes into the negatives, they're charging you $25 every single time. That adds up. Okay. On August 5th, Gracie had 1,000. Oh, I had a typo here. Take the 0 out of here. Sorry, I didn't realize that until I actually printed that. Got too many digits going on in there. Sorry about that. $1,276.35 in her account. Over the next few days, the following checks were submitted for payment at her bank. So August 6th, there were 3 of them. August 7th, there was 1. And August 8th, there was 1. How much will she pay in overdraft protection fees? Submitted for payment means, like, if I wrote you a check and you take that check to the bank to cash it, and they're going to try to pull that money out of my account. Now, if I don't have overdraft protection, the bank's going to say, I'm sorry, and they're not going to take it from you. Yeah. Yeah. And that happened to me once. Somebody had written me a check. I went and cashed it, and the bank cashed it for me. And then I get notice in my next statement that there was an insufficient funds on that check that I cashed from a friend of mine. So they charged me, they took that money back out of my account, and they charged me a fee for trying to cash a check that didn't have funds in it. Thankfully, it was a friend of mine, so I contacted her, and she reimbursed me everything because she felt terrible. But it's like, if you got that from somebody that's not a friend, you're just out all that money. So that's why a lot of times people are like, cash only. I don't want to mess with checks from you because it may not actually clear the bank. Okay? So The only time you're charged the overdraft fee, though, is if when they take that check out, it causes your balance to go negative. All right, so if we're looking here, Gracie does have over $1,200 in her account, right? So how much will she pay in overdraft fees? Well, at what point does she actually go into the negative? So if we start, let's kind of go one step at a time. So here's her beginning balance, right? The $1,276.35. So on the very first check that went through, here's her first check. If I subtract off the $923.93, did she go negative? No, she didn't fall into the negatives on that one. So what is that? $352.42. So is the bank going to charge her an overdraft fee? No. So that one went through okay. So the next one, $54.23. Is she going to go negative? No. So $298.19. So there's no fee charged. The next one, $532.56. What's going to happen to poor Gracie's account? She's in the negatives now. So negative $234.37. So she's going to get a fee for that one because she went to the negatives. All right. Well, we're not done though. How about the $295? She's going to get another fee because she's still negative, trying to pull more money out of here. So now she's negative $529.37, and she's going to get charged another fee. And hey, look, she's trying to cash another check out of there. $653.92. And she's going to get charged another fee. All right. So the question is, how much will she pay in overdraft protection fees? Well, they charge $25 per check. She had 3 times it happen. So 3 times the $25 fee, she's getting charged $75 because 3 checks went through that negative, negative, negative. How much will she owe the bank after August 8th? How much will she owe the bank? She's going to owe the bank this much, right? The $1183.29, but she also owes the bank $75 in fees. So altogether, she's going to owe the bank $1,258.29. Yikes. Now, a lot of times when they do that, like the overdraft, it's because they'll pull money from, like, if you have another account from them, they'll pull that money from that account and put it in there and cover that for you. But if you don't have that money, whoo, you better reconcile your bank account real fast. The bank's not going to be real happy. Okay? Noah. Right, once you saw it go negative, you could just count how many more things are after that. But I knew in my mind, I knew that next question was on there, so I'd have to figure it out eventually.